Good morning, and good morning, my blessed friends. Welcome to our next adventure. This is my favorite day, second favorite day of the year, outside of our anniversary.
Good one there.
Yeah.
Good one.
So, Crawfish Day. So, come along with us on this adventure as we tear into this. We show you guys what a legitimate Cajun crawfish boil looks like and what it means to have good friends, great times, and the best thing in the world is making memories.
Yeah, sounds good.
Let's go. So, bringing you back in, I've got to give a huge shout out to a couple of friends of mine, Ryan and Andy. They came over and helped me get all this cut and prepped. So we're just going to take you kind of bottom to top on everything that goes into the crawfish boil that we're using this year. I've changed a couple things since last year, specifically when it comes to seasoning. We'll get to that here in just a second, but here on this end, we've got the potatoes and onions. So we've got 10 pounds of potatoes, and we've got 7 onions, 7 whole onions, just quartered. We'll come down here, we've got a dozen oranges, a dozen lemons. Coming over here, we've got celery, and then 8 cloves of garlic, and we've got them basically split, so 4 that are cut in half and 4 we've like broken down. We've got 4 pounds of andouille sausage. We've got a couple of buckets of mushroom. And then when you move into the seasonings, this is where things have changed just a little bit. So you'll see the same stuff we used last year. Again, we'll link that below. The Zatterans liquid crab boil this year, for whatever reason, we couldn't find the big bottles, so we got the little 2-ounce bottles, but same quantity. We got 16 ounces. We're gonna use 3 of the bags of crab boil. I call it crab boil in a bag. And then 4 pounds of Zatterans. And then lastly, this year, which last year I tried to get and I couldn't get it in time, this is called frog bone. This is hands down the single best seafood boil that I have ever used. I've used this in probably 20 or 30 different crawfish boils and seafood boils of different types. And it gives the best, most consistent flavor. It's got a good heat to it. One of the things that, a couple of things that aren't out here, we've got corn that's going to be going into this. So, and the first and second boil will both have 36 pieces in them. And then in the first boil, we've also got some okra that's going to go in there that you guys will see as we put it down. Oh, I forgot to mention, just unsalted butter. There's enough salt in the stuff that we're going to be putting in there. Unsalted butter is your best friend when it comes to a crawfish boil.
Now, we got a lot of comments last year about why we use the butter. A lot of people think it adds too much oil to the water and it's unnecessary.
So, for me, it's a flavor thing. It's that rich, buttery flavor that I'm looking for in my boil. The other thing,
like if you were to do lobster.
Yeah, same thing. Another thing we get several questions last year.
The sugar. Your brother laughed his head off when he saw that.
So I use a lot more acid, a lot more citrus in my boil. I use the sugar to cut down on some of the acid in the boil itself. That's why we have it. That's why it goes in there. Again, I use probably twice the amount of citrus most people do. So I use a dozen oranges and a dozen lemons. I love the flavor profile of them. I love what it does to the boil, but it is a lot of acid. And if you have people that have like acid reflux or anything like that, or indigestion, the sugar helps cut a lot of that out.
What I want to add too about like the butter and the water and the sugar and stuff like that. So yes, when you're doing the crawfish itself, it has the shell on it, so maybe not a lot of it's going to penetrate that. But you got to understand, we're adding corn, we're adding potatoes. A lot of that's going to absorb those juices.
All those flavors.
So it's not just for the crawfish; it is also for your veggies that you're going to be putting in there.
So the veggies not only are they there to season the boil itself, but they're there to draw that flavor in. Like one of my favorite things in the world to eat, and this is the only way I eat mushrooms.
He hates mushrooms.
I hate mushrooms, but in a crawfish boil, white button mushrooms, you cannot beat them. They're like a sponge, man. They soak up all that flavor. They are so good. And then my favorite thing out of the whole boil is the andouille sausage. So
of course.
We got Savoys this year. We were able to find a place local that carried Savoy. So a really...
Publix, you can mention it.
Yeah.
It's
So
Publix.
we
So,
grabbed
if
it
you
from
have a
Publix.
Publix in your area, they
Yep.
do carry it.
And like for us, it's one of the few things that like we have a hard time getting out here in Georgia is good boudin or good andouille sausage.
Well, boudin too.
Well, yeah.
I wish we had some boudin.
So we're gonna pop over real quick. We'll bring you guys back in just a second. We'll show you the crawfish. All right, guys. So we're purging the crawfish right now. I do a no salt purge. I've done salt purges for the longest time, but since I've gotten this crawfish washer, I've noticed I really don't need to do a purge, the salt purge. This thing does as good of a job as any salt purge is going to do. Just grab your stick, your paddle, you flip them around, you make sure everything's out, and I mean you can see that water's crystal clear now. There's nothing in the water. There's no mud or anything like that. And guys, again, I want to give a huge shout out to JR. These crawfish are absolutely massive. These are, when it comes to crawfish, you cannot ask for anything better. So guys, our last video, we took start to finish on the purge. Again, we'll link that below. And if you have any questions about that, I did a salt purge in that. The only difference between this one and that one is I didn't put salt on these. And it's just something over the last little bit that I have learned. And again, trial and error. You see things, you learn things, and you just continually improve. Put the whole thing in there. Yep. That's it.
So it is raining out here in Florida. We get these pop-up showers, but
Georgia.
at least it's not hot right now, yeah, honey?
Yeah.
We have a runaway. Be free.
Hello, Frank.
Frank Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, if you watch our video last year, we had one that come out and his name is Frank.
Yep, we had a pet one named Frank. What happened, Frank, honey?
He actually outgrew the tank he was in.
And he went where? Danny told me.
Away. He went away.
He lives in the sewer now to become a monster.
Can I grab one of you guys? I need one of you to come here because I ain't gonna pick this up. Right.
Well, they lived a good life.
Drop them in. That's all right.
Two-second rule.
Oh my God.
Grab it. No, just throw it in. Just throw it in.
Throw it in.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Hold off on those. No, we'll put those in the second boil.
What not to do.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
What happens when you fill it with too much water?
That's my fault.
Sarge, you look dirty. Are you comfortable? Huh?
There's water in there
He's
too.
just chilling out here. Good boy.
There's about, for me, this is the way I do it. There's a couple of different ways to do it. You grab, twist and pull, right?
Suck out the
Shotgun the
juices.
head. That's the best flavor in the world right there. You take it, you peel the first ring off. Hold your thumb at the bottom. Comes out nice and clean. Works every time. Something that's a little bigger, a little easier to see, again, same thing. Crack it. Shotgun the head. We'll hang on to him. He's got some pretty decent claws on him. Again, you go that first ring. Sometimes it busts open, but it is what it is. One ring off. Here. Every time. What we're gonna do, we're gonna add a little bit of cayenne to this last boil. We've probably got 10 pounds or so left out of the 37 pounds that we boiled earlier. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna add the cayenne to the second set. We'll obviously toss them together, and then whenever we make crawfish pie, crawfish etouffee, crawfish omelets, you get that flavor through it, and you cannot beat it, guys. You can't beat it. Everybody that's here is going home with at least a 1 gallon bag of crawfish, corn, mushrooms, and sausage. So we did 4 pounds of sausage. I don't know if I hit that earlier or not, but this is, I mean, shout out to the guys down at JR's, man. When they put this order in for me, we've ordered through these guys before, and they do a great job. I mean, last year we got some really good ones.
On that one.
Oh yeah, like this guy right here.
That's fun. That's a fun looking
And
one.
when you look at them, I mean, that is creme de la creme of crawfish. It don't get no better than that.
All right, so this is where it's at for me. I'm in the shade. All the guys are standing around the table, but I am sitting. I got a big tray full of crawfish, and this is where I am hanging out. But what a good way to kick off summer. I know we're later in the season than what most people do their crawfish boils, but to me, this is like the kickoff of summer right here. This is where it's at. So when we talk about our channel, we enjoy, obviously, if you've been following us, we enjoy our vacations, we enjoy the theme parks, but when you're thinking about an ordinary, extraordinary life, right here.
We're just happy we get to have you guys along for the ride.
Yeah, and try a crawfish boil yourself. Don't be afraid of making mistakes.
No.
As you can tell,
Yeah,
well, you
like I
made
said,
a little bit of a mistake.
I've been doing this for almost 30 years, and
He still makes mistakes.
I still make mistakes. It is what it is.
The point of all of this is, though, is make sure you're having a good time and don't get discouraged.
That's it. If something doesn't come out right, try something different.
And be on the lookout for future videos. We're gonna have a ton of leftovers, and we've got some delicious crawfish treats coming your way.
That's it. Hopefully this is to your guys' satisfaction, that you guys enjoy this.
I hope you learned some new things.
Yeah, like I said, we tried some new things. And again, I mean, I messed up, I overfilled it. We lost a little bit, but you know what? That's part of it.
You can laugh and point
That's it.
fingers at him.
But, you know,
I did.
if you're doing this, if you get into this stuff, you're going to eventually make mistakes. I mean, I've done in excess of 100 boils. and I can count on one hand the number of ones that have gone absolutely perfect. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for coming along this adventure with us.
If you like this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button.
Subscribe, right there. Hit the subscribe button now. If you didn't, just do it now.
If you want to see more of our content.
Yeah.
And as always, you guys, an ordinary life is truly extraordinary.
Thank you, guys. Come along with us on our next adventure.
Is this all that you dreamed it'd be?